On here and talk a little bit about SurfPrep. And for those of you out there that use the product, we appreciate you more than you know, and we don't take that lightly. We're honored that you are using SurfPrep, and we are working daily, diligently, tirelessly to continue bringing out new products, which you will see on the horizon, the very short, near horizon here real soon. So we have a few products in front of us, and Hannah threw this 1-inch sanding block at me. And I was like, what do you want me to say about a 1-inch foam sponge sanding block? Well, for those of you who maybe you don't know, George Dixon is the founder of the foam sanding block, along with a gentleman in England, Jack Weiss. And George had an application for a flexible foam style. He didn't know it at the time, but he had an application for a flexible abrasive. And the origins of this go all the way back to when his wife had a nail salon and she did hair in the late 60s and the early 70s. A lot of people aren't aware of this, and I know there are a lot of people, storytellers, that tell different things about different companies, and I'm just giving you the straight, the straight, direct information here. But George's wife did fingernails, and she used 9x11 silicon carbide wet dry sanding sheets. She would cut them down and tear them down to where after she used a Dremel with a 1/2 by 1/4 inch spiral band on a nail, she would then take a piece of sandpaper, believe it or not, and sit there and shape and remove all the scratches left by that spiral sanding band. And George saw that. He was innovative. He was, the guy was progressive in his business ventures. He was very forward thinking. And he ultimately went to the Chicago Hardware Show in the early 70s, and he met Jack Weiss. Together, they ended up in England. And together, they took carpet foam. And for those of you guys out there and ladies that have been on a floor on all fours and you've slammed your knee into a carpet stretcher, you know what we're talking about here. But the carpet foam back then was it was a mixture. And if any of you know what I'm talking about, it was all different colors of foam, kind of mishmash.
Chip block foam.
Chip block. Yep, chip block foam. And that's how that was how the original 1-inch foam sanding blocks were designed. Not with an open cell or a closed cell foam, but it was that chip block foam. I remember when we bought the company, oh my gosh, in late 2003, when we bought Dixon, I remember having those chip block foam blocks, and there was 250 in a case, and I think a case weighed almost 40 pounds.
They were heavy.
It was that heavy. Mm-hmm. So that's the origins of the 1-inch foam block. What George did back then is he cut it right down the middle. So instead of having a 2 3/4 inch wide block, he had that split down the middle. That way his wife could then use that block as a nail buffer. For those of you women, the women that are out there that go and get your nails done, or guys that get your whatever feet done.
Do you not get your toes done? You should probably go get a pedicure.
Actually, no. I was.
We'll sell more sandpaper if you go get some more pedicures.
Probably not. I was in my garage barefoot yesterday.
We should all get a pedicure.
I do love foot massage.
There you go.
When we were in the Philippines, that was wonderful to get a foot massage. Anyway, getting back to the what were we talking about?
We're talking about the origin of SurfPrep.
So the origin of the block.
So you keep saying Dixon. A lot of people here probably don't know what the heck Dixon is. What is Dixon, and how is it related to SurfPrep?
So George Dixon, the founder of the company, he called his business Dixon Enterprises. And when I bought the company in the fall or winter of 2003, we bought Dixon Enterprises, and I began really doing a lot of stuff on the back end. I have a spray booth that I had in the back of our factory here, and I was spraying doors, I was spraying primer, I was spraying sealer coats, top coats, all this kind of stuff, and I was sanding stuff and working with, we can, I guess, move into the foam abrasive, but this here became, this was an outgrowth of the foam blocks, because the two-sided pads, the single-sided pads there was no flocking on the back. There was no way to attach it to a hooked backup pad. So my big thing has always been trying to figure out, where do people bleed? So myself and Adam, we were just recently in a large manufacturer, over 400 or 500 people, employees, and we always see sanding cells of men and women that are sanding in 80-degree or 80% humidity. These people are standing out on floors, prep sanding doors and all this kind of stuff for paint, whatever it may be. And I wanted to, 20 years ago, I wanted to be able to take the abrasive off the skin and put it on a hook and loop backup pad. It all started with 5-inch and 6-inch. This is a 5-inch disc, and it all started with everything round, and it quickly shifted to everything rectangular.
Oh, and was that automotive, or was it cabinets?
Actually, in the very beginning, it's bowling balls.
Bowling balls.
It was bowling balls
with Pro Foam,
and it was not Pro Foam. It was original.
The
foam.
Original foam.
And we were using versions of silicon carbide and some other things. As a matter of fact, a lot of the original foam were in vending machines, where when you went to a bowling alley, you would drop your bowling ball into the vending machine, if that's what you call it, and it would sit on a disc, on a cup, and it would spin the bowling ball at so many RPMs, and then the pad would come in, and it would take the shape of the bowling ball, and it would polish the bowling ball and put lines in it. I'm not a bowler, but as I understand it, the oil that's on the hardwood floor for a bowling alley, the way that the oil is laid down on the bowling alley and the way that the grooves are sanded into the bowling ball, it allows it to give its spin. So lots of different applications.
And that was like a 5-inch or 6-inch without vacuum holes.
And it was half-inch thick back then.
Half-inch. Wow, what a trip.
So the weight of the bowling ball would kind of press against the 1/2-inch, 6-inch diameter pad, and that pad would take the shape of the sphere of the ball.
Okay.
So we
Storm Bowling. That was probably 2012 Storm Bowling. I remember them coming to the warehouse and buying sandpaper.
So, yes. But anyway, lots of different manufacturers. But, so we were working, I was working tirelessly to create and take what George had started with a block to develop these other products that would attach to a tool. And if people are trying to timestamp or date, when these kind of things happened, I can share all those dates, but we were the first and only company to enter this into the Visionary Award and the Challengers Award on a worldwide basis, where we had competitors galore. Name a competitor or name another abrasive manufacturer in the world. They were in my booth and they were watching all of this evolve and develop.
This right here,
yes.
A 3x4 abrasive
that is correct.
With foam.
Yep, and 1/2-inch thick, 5mm and 10mm.
Very cool.
Today, I was just outside of Houston, Texas a few weeks ago. Went into an account where each human being is sanding 350 shaker doors a day. So if you figure that out, these people, all they're doing is sanding all day long. Just that day, from witnessing what they're doing with scissors, straight edges, steel rules, all of these different things, devices, watching what they were doing, I came up with another brand new idea, and you'll see a completely new 3x4, not a 3x4, but you'll see an entirely newly designed product to help people in those applications. So we were talking about bleeding earlier, and nobody likes bleeding. The best way to take care of a wound is to cauterize it or stitch it. And that's what SurfPrep, we're blessed to have the people that we have that I'm surrounded by, because when we go out and we work with people, we sell nothing. As a matter of fact, we don't like selling anything. Sales is, that's not something that we focus on. We're highly invested in identifying where people are struggling. And the struggle is it's, you know, what happens is that you have excess waste, you have excess material costs. That's a big part of the struggle. The other big thing on the struggle is that when I get with owners of, it doesn't matter if it's a large OEM, a mid-size, a small account, an aftermarket automotive, I want to know what is keeping them awake before they fall asleep at night. So they've got a factory of 10 people, 2 people. It could be 50 people. It could be 300 people. I want to know what's keeping you awake. Where are the issues? Where are the situations in your plant? I know what keeps me awake at night when I look at everything in production, all the machinery that we have. I know what keeps me awake. And if my vendors and the people that I'm surrounded by with those companies can keep me in a state of calm and I can sleep at night and go to bed and not be restless, then I'm winning. And that's we do the same exact thing. It could be somebody in a garage that's struggling with getting tiny parts done. I've seen the 3x4 get set up in a jig, and the jig holds the tool in place. It activates the lever and it makes the tool run. And I see people take small parts and drop small parts down on a moving platform with an abrasive, and it solves a lot of problems for them. I've spoken with women, it just happens to be women, not men, but I've spoken with women that have severe issues physically. I've had, my mother had MS, and I've spoken with 3 women that have had MS, that it's very hard for them to hold and manage a tool when they're refinishing furniture or cabinets. And they've shared how powerful the system is in helping them get through the work that they get through. Anyway, so there's the different foam abrasives. There's been a lot of chatter recently about our brand new. This stuff is going crazy. It's hard to get it punched quick enough to fill orders and to sell. It's our version. I've never believed in really copying anybody. I've always been about innovation, and so I never want to. If another company comes out with a product, I don't want to copy it. I want to look at, okay, where was the fit for that, and what are they missing? And how do we fill those gaps? This is our version of, I guess, what you could call it is a blended ceramic. It's not a 100% ceramic product. It's on a calendared C-weight backed paper. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is it's called our White Lightning. And if you see P's, you should see P's in front of the grits on every sanding abrasive out in the marketplace. If you do not see a P there, and if you happen to see a plus behind the grit number, so in this case, if this were a 240 plus, that doesn't mean that's a 240 grit grain anymore. And that's just a marketing thing that companies will do or use. If it's not truly a 240 grit, there's no way that there could be parity in testing if really what you have on there is a blend of 240 and 220, or maybe it's just simply a 180 grit or a 190 grit. So if it's a 190 grit and it says, but they're not going to disclose that. If it says 240, but it's got a plus there, it's wide open. It could be a 190 grit. The reason they do that is they know that if they're running their 190 grit against our 240 grit, they're going to beat it. They're going to beat it in rate of cut. They're going to beat it in life because it's truly not a 240. The P stands for a FIPA, and that is a worldwide, world recognized grading system for grading coated abrasives, grit to grit, so that when you lay a profilometer down on a surface, you're measuring the surface texture over so many millimeters, and you're getting actual readings of the random average scratch across that 25 or 30 millimeters. You're getting the highest peak and the lowest trough that a grit is leaving. So we use profilometers to tell exactly what other abrasives are doing. And we know that it's kind of hocus pocus, but it's all good. Excuse me, it's free enterprise. People can do whatever they want to do. But with our disc, Denny Johns has run the living daylights out of this. in a sanding schedule leading up to a high gloss sheen finish, like a 95 and 100 sheen, he's seen tremendous finish characteristics, tremendous finish quality, which when you're getting the scratch that you need to get and you're following that scratch up with the next successive scratch, and that grit is removing the material left over by the prior grit, and it's a smooth transition all the way through, and your clarity, your reflectivity, and everything is represented in that. It's powerful. So the White Lightning is, we have this available all the way down to 60 grit, and it is our answer to what people have been accustomed to in a ceramic type of an abrasive. But there are 3 grains in this, and that's why it gives the good rate of cut, the longevity, and the scratch characteristics of it. We believe that if you're sanding in this world today, I'm seeing everything I did 30 years ago, 35 years ago was non-vacuum. 100% of everything was non-vacuum. That's all changing in the world in which we live in today. People are everywhere. They are wanting to have all of the dust that's generated at the point of contact evacuated away. If you're sanding without vacuum, let's say MDF, it could be primer. Primer is like a blizzard. MDF, when you're sanding it with a 320 grit, is still a blizzard. Adam West, one of our techs, just last week did a demo illustrating the power of a center hole and a backup pad without a vacuum. And if you go look at Adam's video on what he did there in his garage shop, you'll see that when he sands with a disc with no center hole, there is a pile of MDF left over. And if you see him sand with one of our sanders with the hole in the middle and he lifts the tool up, there's 0 dust. It's because of our fan design. It's the fan design on our air sanders and the fan design on our electric sanders. So it's very hard to see. If I spun the backup pad off, you would see that there's a fan in there that acts as an evacuation tool, so to speak, that's grabbing and pulling. It's not grabbing literally, but it's pulling the dust and it's removing it off the surface and it's casting it out actually between the shroud and the backup pad. So central vacuum, it's huge, both air and electric. One of the really cool things, I don't see one laying around here, but is on our central vacuum air sanders, the air line is encapsulated inside the dust extraction hose. So we don't have 2 different things zip-locked together or webbed together with a web holding the 2 together. The other thing is you need to have a brake at your connection points.
With pneumatic sanding.
So
not electric.
Sanders. You need to have a brake. And then the brake that we have with our electric sanders is we have a highly flexible whip hose that's wire reinforced. But it allows the operator when they're sanding to not feel like they're inhibited by something that's working against their wrist, their forearm, their elbow, that type of thing.
Love it. So if anyone was going to ask a question, and we are a sanding company. So my question is, why, if I'm sanding, there are a million sandpaper brands out there, why am I going to invest my time and money into the SurfPrep brand? What is different and why are SurfPrep abrasives go-to?
The first and foremost, we're very slow at just jumping at launching products. For sanding the substrates that we're sanding, you don't need 70 different hybrids or varieties of sanding discs. What humans want is when they pick their tool up and they activate either the on-off switch or the throttle lever. When they activate that, the number one thing they want is they want to know that they have rate of cut, that there's torque, that there's something is removing something. The old adage, less is more, couldn't be truer in this situation with sanding. You will watch people sit and grind and like push real hard. And if you just slow that down by 75%, you're going to remove more material by doing that than sanding fast. But back to your question, Hannah, the biggest thing is people want the ready to cut feel. We have that in the raw material suppliers that I have worked with for, it's going on, 25 years now. We source what we believe to be the very best grains that aren't just from overseas and Eastern Asian countries. We're sourcing grains from different areas around the world, and we're making sure that the grains we are sourcing are high quality. We want them to do the things that they need to do under light pressure to rapidly remove material quickly, because people that are trying to get through their day to get a surface to the texture that they need it to be able to thermofoil, to paint, to put epoxy on, to put a stain on. These are the things that are important to those people. I'll never forget, this is 13 years ago. Adam and I were given an hour to match 33 colors on 33 kitchen cabinet doors in a large high volume manufacturer. And because of our abrasive quality, we matched 30 colors in an hour by setting up all of the sanding from the beginning of the wide belt sander throughout that whole sanding process with the right sanding schedule. And we nailed 30 colors. The other 3 we didn't nail were better than what had been spec'd out for the designers, and they changed their base. They changed what they had prior to the new with the schedule we came up with. So there's we're when you hear about SurfPrep individuals out in the field, we're passionately focused on duplicating the things that we've learned through our distributor reps, our paint store reps, all of these different humans that I work with. One of the big things that I get into with them is, what's your why in life? Because if you don't have a why and you have no direction, they're going to be of little value to those of you who are watching this video. If you just have somebody that has a bag full of stuff, but they don't know how to put it on a sander, they don't know how to turn a sander on, they've never used a sander, and these are salespeople, then you want to find somebody that's engaged, highly engaged, and that will stand there and work with you side by side. So service. So we talked about the quality of the grains, the backings, everything that we do. Our paper is all calendared. It has to be, in order to be able to support the grain and have the grain sit the way it's supposed to sit.
What does calendared mean? I've never heard that word.
It's a whole process by which the paper goes through a process where it is dead flat. There's no pockets in the paper anywhere on the jumbo roll.
So the back of the abrasive.
That's right, the backing of not the flock, not the fuzzy stuff that sticks to the hook.
You said the C weight, because White Lightning is C weight?
That is correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's things like that. The blends of the cloth and the polyesters that we use for heavy machine calibration of parts. All of those things play into that. So if we give them the rate of cut, we give them the finished characteristics that they're looking for, and they're like, dang, this stuff works. It lasts just as long as this other product. It lasts longer than that other product. You can have a product that lasts 10 times longer, but if your finished surface has been sacrificed because of what you've run on it, and now you've got reworks, you got repair work, you've got all these different issues. And large production environments can't afford to have that. They can't afford the rework, the labor, all of the excessive costs that go into that. I am really fired up and excited to say, man, we are in the UK and we're burning it up.
Yes.
We're not. Our partners in the UK, Paint Shack, they are burning it up. It is blowing up. It's, these people have been so patient. They've been like so calm. Well, I can't tell you how many times through social media, probably hundreds of weeks, when do you come to the UK? We've been there. Get a hold of Mr. Bidwell, Colin. It's banging. It is banging. We just opened up in, what's the big island place in the world? Dubai. Dubai. So
Dubai.
Now we've got a partner in Dubai. He's gone sideways on
Who's going to pay for us to go to Dubai? Are you going to pay like $3,000 a night for me to stay in a hotel? I'm going to put it on the company card. I'm going to Dubai.
We'll see if there's a comfort.
If our
suite there.
sandpapers, I don't think they have comfort.
I think they've got a comfort suites there.
I think you like pull up on a camel. I don't know, actually.
I don't know anything about
I'm making that up.
All I'm sharing is that we're in Dubai with a presence. I mean, a massive presence, and we're excited.
Love it.
Business is booming. There couldn't be a better time in any of your lives to be in business. Focus on the positives. Eliminate the negatives. Think about what's good in life. Think about all of the opportunity that's out there. There are so many people. Sanding is not fun. There are so many people. It can be maybe therapeutic for some. That would be a very tiny minority. But there's so much opportunity in the world. There's so many people looking for good, solid, authentic, engaged support and help. People that are truly there to help people. So there's so many different. I know you have the pad saver here. All I want to say is if you're using a sanding film sheet from us, if you're using our paper, White Lightning, Red Riptide, if you're using Blizzard, if you're using Shredder, whatever it is, always make sure that you have a pad saver on here. Pad saver is the thickness of a slice of cheese, and all you do is you slam it on there. That protects your backup pad, because if you don't use one, you're going to start destroying your corners.
Oh, yikes.
So, speaking of corners, we have 2 of the cobots from AWFS being commissioned, fully placed online, one next week, one in October. We've got about 15 others that are just, they're waiting patiently. So,
well, I think everyone's enjoyed this, and I think we should do this once a week, Sweetie Pie.
Well, you know what? Next week, I'm going to be in Alabama for 4 days. Up in Ashley. I actually have a niece named Ashley, but I'm going to be in Ashley.
Nice. Alabama. You're going to be a little sweaty.
Yeah, I'll
compared
be in
to California.
I'm going to take my wife to where I played in the College Baseball World Series in Montgomery, Alabama.
Nice.
We'll be there. Then we're going to be back in North Carolina for a stretch of time. And
then you're going to Canada with Denny.
Denny and I will be at KCMA the very last week of October, the first 3 days.
Nice.
I think we have 15 appointments set up there.
Nice.
Then we will shoot right on down to Detroit. We'll be at CMA. And
love our friends at CMA.
Saturday morning, and we'll head back to Topsail. Got a brand new factory we're building. There's just a lot going on. And then we jump on a plane with you.
And I'll meet you in Germany.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll buy you a beer there.
That's great. That would be awesome. I'll get you some bruschetta.
That's in Italy. There we go.
Yeah, we have so many amazing vendors. We've got like 10 vendors. We're going to be seeing and then I'm
going to go see Colin Bidwell, Paint Shop in UK.
That's right. That'll be a blast.
Nice.
And we got to see a couple of factories there. But then we end up in Ireland. So you're going to take me somewhere there. Where are we going to go?
I think we're going to be going to some castles. I don't know. But thank God for sandpaper, because then we could do fun stuff like that.
Growing up as a kid that didn't have a whole lot. And it's like weird. You work hard in life and you help a bunch of other people, and then
you're at the Jameson tour in Dublin, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a blast.
Okay, so SurfPrep. What does SurfPrep stand for? And then we'll sign off.
Love.
You're done.
Love.
Surface preparation. A lot of people don't know surface preparation. So that's what we're all about, people. We love sanding. We're proud of our products. Have any words of wisdom for our friends?
Focus on all that's good in life. Figure out your why. And we're honored that we have hundreds of thousands of loyal cut friends around the world that when they need to pick up a piece of sandpaper and a tool, they pick up SurfPrep, and for that we're grateful. I don't take that lightly at all. I don't take that for granted, and it means the world to us, because we bust our butts, and we do that because it's just supporting and helping other people.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. See you later.
Yes.
Bye, SurfPrep fam.